Zero hour is over. Question hour, question 231. Question 231.
Yes, sir.
This guy. Okay, yes.
Chairman, sir, my first supplementary is relating to part E of the question. Sir, it is true that Pratyush Sinha has finalized the guidelines and DOPT has fixed the strength of 101 IPS officers for AP and 87 for Telangana. If you calculate it, it comes to 188 officers. But the present strength is 211 out of the total sanctioned strength of 256. So I would like to know from the Honorable Minister where you have distributed the remaining 23 IPS officers. Secondly, sir.
One question, please. One question. Let it be answered.
Same, sir. This is in the same question. Same question, sir. Details of the formula adapted to fix the strength between AP and Telangana. Why there are less number of IPS officers for Telangana?
Thank you.
Sir, as it is a fact known to the Honorable House that there is a total shortage of 930 IPS officers throughout the country. So is the case in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana after bifurcation. However, the ratio of 13:10 for the total 23 districts, that is 10 districts in Telangana and 13 districts in the state of Andhra Pradesh. That formula has been maintained under the committee known as Pratyush Sinha Committee. The recommendation has been considered, and the shortages of IPS officers is an issue which is a broader one. That is a national issue which the Home Ministry is taking care of this to settle this issue. But for the moment, for the state of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, the existing officers have been distributed on the basis of the recommendation, and we have received 19 representations so far, and which is with the PMO today, this evening, while I'm speaking now. The meeting is going to be there in the evening, and this decision is to be there to settle the issues which are pending.
Second question.
Sir. Chairman, sir, my second supplementary is, even if you look at the police population ratio in United AP, it is 112.85 per lakh out of the sanctioned 150 per lakh, sir, per lakh population. It is less than the national average, which stands at 136.42 per lakh population. Not only this, even the total police per 100 square kilometers of area, it is just 35 police, whereas the sanctioned strength is 47 and the national average is 52. So I would like to know from the Honorable Minister the reasons behind this huge shortfall and what efforts his ministry is making to bring them at least at par with the national average.
Thank
because
you.
Our state is Naxalites affected area.
Sir, as I mentioned earlier, the shortage is not only in IPS cadre officers, but across the rank within the police service, that we have a huge shortage all over the country. This is a challenge before the government, but definitely government, Home Ministry is taking various steps to fill up those vacancies which are there as per the sanctioned strength. And since the police is a state subject, so the state government also has to come up with the measures to fill up those vacancies in the total strength.
Thank you. Shri Parimohan Mahapatra.
Sir, will the Minister please say, when there were several methods available, like emergency recruitment immediately after independence, then again in 1955, another emergency recruitment. In the 60s, the recruitment from armed forces into the services, into All India services. Why did you take recourse to a limited competitive examination, bringing in only particular types of services under it, and thereby getting into court cases? And this is going on for several years, creating serious deficiencies in IPS cadres in different states. And what are you going to do about it? Why don't you first and have recruitment from armed forces?
So this, the recruitment through the process of limited competitive exam is what was one-time exercise which was conducted in 2012, which is facing the litigation. It is still pending in the court, and that is not only course to fulfill all the necessary forces in the police services. The primary resource of the officers is through the civil service exams, and besides that, there are promotional quota also. 1/3 is in-house adjustment, which are the promotees from the police department. So the sources are not from limited competitive exam, but the Kamal Kumar committee report suggested that there's a huge shortage of the officers in the police service. That is why a special method was being adopted, and which is pending in the court. But we are trying to bring it under one club, under one forum, in one court, that is in the Honorable Supreme Court, so that this case can be disposed of before it gets too late.
Shri Kiran Mohan Nanda. No, please.
Sir, will the Honorable Minister also be pleased to state?
One sec, just one sec.
As I say, it's a portion of the officers. And armed forces means not only the Indian Army, the Deputy SP rank from the police service and the commandant level officers and equivalent. And armed forces only the major and the captain rank only. So it is not only one force.
Thank you, Mr. Nanda.
Sir, will the Honorable Minister also be pleased to state the state-wise number of officers promoted from provincial police service to IPS cadre during the last 3 years?
So I can provide the information separately because it's very lengthy, but I can inform the honorable member that each state have 1/3 of quota, which is called the internal, that is your inner quota. And these officers are filled up through the process of promotion within the state. And the remaining portion is recruited through the outside, through examination and through the centralized UPSC process which we are following.
No, please.
I'm saying it's difficult to give the figures for every states.
Dr. Keshav Rao.
Is the minister aware that in 6 months that the Telangana has been formed, but we don't have the staff at all? All that you gave is under the cloud of uncertainty. We do not know whether somebody is allotted to Telangana or not. It is all on ad hoc basis. We are very happy that in the evening you are meeting. But the question raised, the supplementary raised was entirely different. We had, sir, I submit to you, we had 256 people, in which only 101 and 87 are given. What happened to the remaining? It is not a shortage in the national context. It is a shortage in the state context. What happened to them? Number two, it is you who have calculated the police per the persons to be served, the people. This was there existing in Telangana and Andhra, in United Andhra. How come all of a sudden is halved? It is now absolutely half of it. And that will the committee at least, because I don't want you to immediately tell us now, will the committee tomorrow stick to, adhere to your own principles that you have taken up earlier and gave to us when we are discussing the Home Ministry?
Thank you.
Sir, I stated earlier that there is no such real effect on the ground. The officers are as they were. There's no movement of the field officers in all the 22 districts in the combined, the erstwhile state of Andhra Pradesh, that is Telangana including. So there's no effect. There's an impression being created that the bifurcation process has affected the administration there. It is not the case. However, there are issues there which we have already admitted that the issues will be considered, and 19 those representations which the MHA has received has been placed before the PMO, and the decision is likely to happen soon.
Thank you. Question 232. That's all. Next question, please. Question 232.
Question number 232, sir.
Let the answer be given.
400. My Mary Gaji, 400 advance to the state, not given advance.
Are there any supplementaries?
232 बोला ना.
Okay.
Sir, I want to ask, the hudud caused extensive damage in the city of Visakhapatnam and either neighboring district, Vijayanagaram, Srikakulam, Andhra Pradesh. Damage is estimated to about 70,000 crores. That the assessment are still underway, the heavy devastation occurred. Trees and uprooted properties, infrastructure, livestock, everything has gone, sir. The Prime Minister has announced only
सवाल
1,000
पूछिए।
crore. Out of 1,000, only 500 he has given, sir. Now my first supplementary, what are the measures that the government proposed to take to face any future cyclone Hudud type in coastal district of Andhra Pradesh? That is my first supplement.
So it is a fact that the cyclone hit the coastal part of Andhra Pradesh, particularly in the Visakhapatnam, on 12th October, and immediately the Honorable Home Minister visited the affected site on 6th September, and on 7th, Honorable Prime Minister followed the visit. And as per the assessment which presented by the state government, the central interministerial team had duly visited thereafter, and the assessment has come back to the ministry, and this will be placed before the subcommittee of the National Executive Committee, which is headed by the Home Secretary, and as per the process, it will be placed before the high-level committee, which is headed by the Home Minister. And I can assure that the damages which were assessed by the central team will be considered and adequate help will be provided.
Second supplementary.
Sir, before second supplementary, I asked, because of the coastal area, every time something will happen in 2 years or 3 years. In future, anything will happen, that is the question I am asking, sir. Any survey you are making, that is the first point. And other thing also, contribution have been received by the state government from various sectors, including the Telugu film industry and lot of celebrates. Whether the central government is going to any matching grant to the share collected by the state government. My request is, there is a lot of people are giving some funds. The celebrates, even film actors are making some show, they are getting. At the same time, the central government, whatever the matching you can give to the more development may taken place, that is my interest. Whether the government is ready to, whatever the money was given by the various people, that money equivalent to central government can give matching fund. There is a big construction will be the whether government have got any idea. That is the point.
सभापति महोदय, मैं माननीय सदस्य को यह बतलाना चाहता हूं कि यूं ही आंध्र प्रदेश में और विशेष रूप से विशाखापट्टनम में हुदहुद के संकट को पैदा होने के संकेत प्राप्त हुए थे, तो पहले ही केंद्र सरकार के द्वारा आंध्र प्रदेश की सरकार को सूचित किया गया था और आंध्र प्रदेश के मुख्यमंत्री जी से यह भी अनुरोध किया गया था कि कुछ आवश्यक कदम उठाए जाने चाहिए और केंद्र सरकार के द्वारा जो भी वहां के मुख्यमंत्री जी ने आग्रह किया, वह सब सारी सुविधा इस संकट से निपटने के लिए आंध्र प्रदेश सरकार को उपलब्ध कराई गई थी। और मैं ये बतलाना चाहता हूं कि हमारे प्रधानमंत्री जी स्वयं इस हुदहुद का संकट पैदा होने के बाद वह आंध्र प्रदेश गए थे, विशाखापट्टनम भी गए थे और उन्होंने 1000 करोड़ रुपए के स्पेशल पैकेज की भी घोषणा की थी, जिसमें से 400 या 450 करोड़ रुपए या रिलीज किए जा चुके हैं और आगे भी जो शेष धनराशि है उसको भी रिलीज किए जाने का प्रोसेस चल रहा है।
श्री भूपेंद्र सिंह।
Sir, Chairman, sir, thank you, sir. Through you, I would like to know from the government that hudud is on 12th of October. Sir, not only Andhra Pradesh, sir, simultaneously border of Andhra Pradesh, Odisha, 4 districts of Odisha also were affected. Similarly, we have the Chief Minister, Honorable Naveen Patnaik, has asked for 500 crores.
The question is on
sir,
Andhra Pradesh.
But hudud, the question is also for hudud, sir. The question is also on hudud.
All right, okay, fine.
The question is also hudud. So, sir, hudud का जो बात है, सर, मैं जानना चाहता हूं कि hudud आंध्र प्रदेश में कैजुअलिटी ज्यादा हुआ उड़ीसा में 3 कैजुअलिटी हुआ, लेकिन नुकसान उड़ीसा के 4 जिलों में बहुत गंभीर रूप से हुआ है। और पूरा रिपोर्ट उड़ीसा सरकार ने और हमारे मुख्यमंत्री नवीन पटनायक जी ने आके यहाँ मिले थे, बात किए थे और उसके ऊपर सरकार से 500 करोड़ की मांग की थी इमीडिएट रिलीज करने के लिए। वो कब तक आप रिलीज करने के लिए जा रहे हैं, ये जरा बताएंगे।
थैंक यू
सर। ये सही बात है कि हुडहुड का जो प्रभाव है वो उड़ीसा और आंध्र प्रदेश दोनों में हुआ, और मौतें जो है वो आंध्र में ज़्यादा हुआ, उड़ीसा में कम हुआ। लेकिन जो इफेक्टेड एरिया से एक्सटेंट वो लगभग बराबर है। उड़ीसा में 2.48 लाख हेक्टेयर जमीन पर इफेक्ट हुआ। अभी तक हमारा यहाँ से एनडीआरएफ से 178.495 करोड़ रिलीज कर दिया चुका है, आपके पास वो पहुंच गया है। रिमेनिंग जो है हमारा इंटरनेशनल टीम भी आपके वहाँ विजिट किया, वापस भी आ गए हैं, और उसका भी तुरंत हम लोग कमेटी में प्लेस करेंगे और भेदभाव बिल्कुल नहीं होगा। और आपका उड़ीसा का पहले भी फाइलिंग में भी आप लोगों ने अच्छा काम किया, राज्य सरकार ने उसका हम लोगों ने सराहना किया है, और इस बार भी जो भी मदद देगा वो आपको जरूर मिल जाएगा तुरंत।
श्री आनंद शर्मा।
Sir, this is a very important question because it's not only limited to Hudhud, the cyclone which affected 2 states, but it brings in a larger issue of natural calamities and India's preparedness. So I would therefore like to know, sir, through you, from the government, that 3 major natural calamities have taken place: the floods in Srinagar, Kashmir Valley, and these 2 cyclones which have
You are
come.
widening the scope of the
Sir,
question. The question is
I have a very
specific.
pointed question. I have a very pointed question. It's relevant, sir.
Andhra Pradesh.
That why then, when it comes to preparedness to meet with these situations, for the last 6 months, there is no National Disaster Management Authority, no Vice Chairman, no members. That's my question. And
Thank
it's
you.
relevant, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
सर ये सही नहीं है। नेशनल डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट अथॉरिटी इज अ बॉडी created by the parliament only. The prime minister is the chairman of the body, and there is a secretary who is official secretary. There is a member, there is advisor, there are 4 joint secretaries. The whole body is there. The only thing, sir, I want to inform the honorable house is that
Please sit down.
body
Please.
is existing.
बैठ जाइए, बैठ जाइए.
I don't want to divert the attention of the house, but it is just only the statement I want to make on record that NDMA body is very much functional, and honorable Prime Minister is the chairman, and it is much effectively working.
Thank you, Shri Yachuri. No, please. Sharma Sahab, your question was off the mark.
There is no Vice Chairman, no member.
Doesn't matter. That's a separate matter.
One man authority. That's the Prime Minister of India. There are no members, no Vice Chairman.
बैठ जाइए, please.
Shocking the way the
नहीं,
government functions.
देखिए, please. We are not going into this. We are not going into this. बैठ जाइए.
The government should not. The government should not.
The question is not on this. Please, honorable members, may I draw your attention to the fact that supplementaries. आप बैठ जाइए. नहीं, शुक्ला जी 1 मिनट. देखिए, please. Look, we are not discussing individuals. May I draw the attention of honorable members that supplementaries can only be asked on the question. And please do not enlarge the scope of the question to discuss general issues. Please go ahead,
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Yachuri.
Sir, I am asking a supplementary on the question. The written answer provided here says the Prime Minister announced an interim assistance of 1,000 crore for Andhra Pradesh. Next paragraph says the Government of India has so far released assistance of 515.42 crore, and in bracket it's explained 115.42 crore from SDRF, which I presume is the State Disaster Relief Fund, plus 400 crore for NDRF, which I presume is the National Disaster Relief Fund. Now, the State Disaster Relief Fund is the State Disaster Relief Fund. The National Disaster Relief Fund has certain catchment areas where tranches are released in advance or when the disaster occurs to the states. This is a pre-decided amount of the center from which you advance. It's an advance, not relief. The Prime Minister has announced relief of 1,000 crores. Has a single paisa gone in from that 1,000 crore announced? 400 crores is an advance, 115 crores is of the state fund. What is this 1,000 crore announcement? Nothing has gone to the states, sir.
Thank you.
So you have to understand the technical part of this division of SDRF and NDRF. It is, SDRF is a state disaster relief fund. And the money of 75% is provided by the center in advance. Is a preemptive step that the disaster will definitely strike. That is why the state must have ready-made money in their kitty so that they can distribute relief immediately. Yes, but provided by the center, 75%.
It's an advance, sir.
I know.
That's why I'm clarifying. It is an advance money provided by the center in terms of 75% contribution. And now when Prime Minister makes an announcement in excess of whatever is available in the SDRF will be provided by the central government. So that is dependent on the interministerial central team's report.
The Prime Minister announced it with great fanfare as relief for people of Andhra Pradesh affected by the cyclone. Now all that has been released are advances. Advances according to the tranches that are already decided by the center and the state. Not one paisa of the promised relief by the Prime Minister has gone to Andhra Pradesh.
All right,
Member,
Mr.
you are not
Yachuri,
making a correct
Thank
statement.
you, please.
That is the reality.
Now, this is misleading the House. Now,
Please. Let's
the
have
statement is
restraint
very
on
much clearly
adjectives.
laid on the table of the House, and
Please.
the remaining amount which is pending will be released as per the laid down norms. Whatever is required immediately was already released.
Sir, you are
No. Are we in a discussion?
What the laid down norms are the tranches that the government has earlier decided. You have advanced against those tranches of money that go to the state. Where is that money that the Prime Minister promised? Where is that money? That money has not gone, sir, so far. Sir,
All right.
Where is
All
that
right.
1,000
Okay.
crore?
All right. Please sit down. You have clarified your question.
sir.
All right. Let it be answered. Let it be answered. He's answering. No. Subiramanji, बैठ जाइए.
Sir, the purpose is to provide relief to the victims. Whether it's
Please.
that they're just
By Yachuri ji,
I am elected.
please.
Yeah. Where is that money?
Sir, he is digressing from the main issue.
All right.
And
Will you?
any announcement made by the Honorable
बैठ जाइए,
Prime
बैठ
Minister
जाइए.
has to be adjusted from the available fund which is there
Please.
already.
1 minute. Please. Listen to the answer. Please. Please don't agitate.
That is the additional
Please
amount.
don't agitate.
That is the additional amount.
Do you wish to give any more information to the
That's what,
honorable
sir,
member?
I'm saying. The honorable member is not getting the point.
Please, no. Don't add.
Bullying. Bullying.
Mr. Yachuri, please. You know, 1 minute. No, please sit down. Please sit down. 1 minute. Please sit down. Please sit down. बैठ जाइए. देखिए, I think the House knows very well, if information is incorrect, then there is a process of moving it. That's all. So don't get in. Next question 230. If it is not correct, you know the process. Okay, you have got a written answer. If you find fault in it,
I
please
understand.
take it up.
I understand. Through you, I'm only telling the minister If he wants time, take time but answer this question.
All right, please sit down.
Take your time but answer this question.
Please sit down. If the answer is incorrect, then there is a process of approaching the chair and the government. That's all.
Answer is not wrong. Answer is not wrong. Sir.
All right, can we go to the next question?
See,
Honorable members, please.
When Prime Minister makes an announcement, the money has to come from
Now you've
some
had your say. Question 233, Mr. Sen, please sit down. Please sit
Question 233.
down.
Answer is laid on the table.
बैठ जाइए. Next question. Question 233.
Laid on the table.
Thank you. भाई बैठ जाइए. सुब्बारमा जी बैठ जाइए, please. बैठ जाइए. No. You.
नहीं, ऐसा स्टार्ट क्यों करें?
भाई,
I'll take my time.
What is this? बैठ जाइए.
Very bad voice. Hanuman Rao.
Honorable Home Minister. 1 minute. बैठ जाइए.
वैसे सभापति महोदय, मैं सभी सम्मानित सदस्यों को यह बतलाना चाहता हूं कि प्रधानमंत्री जी के द्वारा भी जिस पैकेज की घोषणा की जाती है, उस स्टेट को वह धनराशि किसी न किसी स्कीम के तहत ही प्रोवाइड की जाती है. तो एक पहले पूरी बात
प्लीज.
मेरी बात तो सुनिए.
भाई बैठ जाइए.
बात तो सुनिए. और सभापति महोदय, सदन को इस बात की भी जानकारी है कि जो हमारे यहाँ नेशनल डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट अथॉरिटी, उस अथॉरिटी का चेयरमैन भी प्राइम मिनिस्टर ही है, और उसी के तहत ही एनडीआरएफ के द्वारा भी धनराशि स्वीकृत की जाती है. प्रधानमंत्री जी ने अपनी तरफ से जो घोषणा कर दी है, तो वह एनडीआरएफ इस स्कीम के माध्यम से ही वह धनराशि उस राज्य को रिलीज की गई है.
प्लीज, वी कांट हैव अ डिस्कशन ऑन दिस.
ने जो घोषित किया है वो घोषणा वो नेशनल डिजास्टर फंड के माध्यम से ही है, तो कोई एक्स्ट्रा है ही नहीं.
पैसा कहीं से तो जाएगा.
कोई सर,
भारत सरकार का है.
होम मिनिस्टर ने मान लिया कोई एक एक्स्ट्रा पैसा नहीं दिया. ये वही फंड है जिस फंड से ये बात गई. इसकी घोषणा की मतलब क्या है? सिर्फ पब्लिसिटी. घोषणा का मतलब सिर्फ पब्लिसिटी है सर, और कुछ नहीं हुआ.
प्लीज सिट डाउन. Please sit down. Mr. Tapan Sen. भाई, ये आप अपने लोगों को जरा थोड़ा सा डिसिप्लिन कीजिए. Let question 233.
Sir, my first supplementary.
Please.
My first supplementary is the gap between the purchasing and selling price, whatever figure you have given in the reply. You have taken the refinery gate price as a purchasing price, and your refinery gate price is based on the import parity price of the finished product of petroleum or diesel in the international market, without any reference to the cost of production in our country, which also includes international price of crude, which we import to the tune of 70% of our requirement. And because of this gap, because of this faulty pricing of the finished product, which you call refinery gate price, the difference, the price that is reaching the people, it becomes at least as on present level of price in Delhi, it is at least 20 rupees more than what the people should pay in for petrol. And for diesel, it is around 15 rupees more than what they are paying now at the retail. My point is that whether you will be seriously reviewing this faulty pricing, because the refinery cost in the international market or Europe and US is much higher than the refinery cost in Indian soil because of the big difference in the labor cost. So that
dividend must be, benefit of that dividend must be available to the people of the country.
Thank
so
you.
on that premise, please, so long you are continuing with this policy, please don't disturb. So, please, whether you are going to seriously reconsider this faulty, this is not also consistent with your market economy philosophy also.
Thank you.
So, whether you are going to seriously reconsider these faulty prices or pricing based on which the people will be benefited at large,
Thank
and
you.
so-called under-recovery, which is based on this faulty pricing system, which they have not,
you finished your question?
Whether you will be seriously reconsidering the pricing to give relief to people.
If you have supplementaries of this length, then there'll be trouble. I understand that. Yes, please.
सर सभापति जी, सर उत्तर भी थोड़ा लंबा होगा। जैसे सप्लीमेंट्री आई है, एक विषय को कुछ होना ही चाहिए, आप उसको, मैं मानता हूं दादा उसको बियर भी करेंगे। एक तो पहले मैं इसको आपकी अनुमति से इसको उत्तर देने के पहले पिछले 6 महीने की, जब से हम लोगों की माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के नेतृत्व में सरकार बनी, पिछले 6 महीने में पेट्रोल पे हम लोगों ने 10 रुपया से ज्यादा मूल्य में कमती की है। डीजल में हम लोगों ने 9 रुपया से ज्यादा मूल्य में कमती की है। ये उसकी पृष्ठभूमि है।
Let's get to the question.
मूल बात उसमें जो सप्लीमेंट्री की जो मूल बात आई है कि किस प्रकार की प्रैक्टिस से यह बात सत्य नहीं है कि हम इंपोर्टेड प्राइस पैरिटी पे जाते हैं। पिछले दिनों में इसकी एक लंबी इतिहास है, जब से 70 दशक के मध्य से क्या प्रकार से इस देश में, किस प्रकार से इस देश में प्राइस मैकेनिज्म होगी, उसकी एक लंबी इतिहास है। सैद्धांतिक रूप में 2 विषयों पे डिबेट चलती है। अभी जो प्रैक्टिस चल रही है, इंपोर्टेड प्राइस, एक्सपोर्टेड प्राइस, और उसकी बीचों बीच भारत में हमने एक मैकेनिज्म पिछले सरकार से ही उसको खड़ा किया गया है, पिछले दशक से ही खड़ा किया गया है, उसको ट्रेड प्राइस पैरिटी कहा गया है। इसी प्रैक्टिस को, क्योंकि विश्व में क्रूड ऑयल की प्राइस और इंपोर्टेड प्रोडक्ट प्राइस की कोई संबंध नहीं है, इसके कई प्रकार की चर्चा इस सदन में लंबा समय से हुई है। अभी जो इस प्रकार की एक तर्क रखा जाता है कि कॉस्ट प्लस होनी चाहिए, भारत में इस प्रैक्टिस को भी जब एपीएम थी तब उस प्रैक्टिस को लगाया गया था, उसको अनुभव भी लिया गया था। उसमें एक ध्यान में आई कि ये भारत की रिफाइनरी सेक्टर की एफिशिएंसी के लिए, परफॉर्मेंस के लिए ये सही नहीं होगा। ये प्रैक्टिस 2002 में, प्लीज दादा बिल्कुल
सुन लीजिए।
इसीलिए कि जब कॉस्ट प्लस होगी, क्रूड ऑयल लाया जाएगा, किस कॉस्ट पे आप उसको प्रोड्यूस कर रहे हो। कंपनियों में जैसे आईओसी के पास 10 रिफाइनरी है, रिफाइनरी आजादी के पहले बना हुआ है, रिफाइनरी 60 दशक में बना हुआ है, रिफाइनरी अभी बनी हुई है। सारे रिफाइनरी की कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन अलग अलग होती है। जो रिफाइनरी एफिशिएंट है उसको कम पैसे में, कम खर्चे में बना के ले आ पाएगा, उसकी कॉस्ट कम होगी। जो रिफाइनरी पुरानी है उनकी कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन बढ़ जाएगी। आखिर सभापति जी, क्या कंज्यूमर को, हमको इस प्रकार की मैकेनिज्म खड़ी करनी चाहिए, हम महंगे चीज पास ऑन कर दे? इसीलिए जो सरकार ने 2002 उसको आगे भी उसको लागू किया गया है कि इंपोर्टेड प्राइस पैरिटी और भारत की जो एक्सपोर्टेड प्राइस पैरिटी है उसकी एक 80-20 फॉर्मूला में एक ट्रेड प्राइस पैरिटी को निकाला गया है, जिसमें भारत की रिफाइनरी लाभ भी मिले, वो सस्टेनेबल हो पाए और कंज्यूमर पे बोझ भी ना आए। ये विषय को इस ढंग से, ये डिबेट, ये एक बौद्धिक डिबेट है। मैं आदर के साथ, मैं इसमें गहन अध्ययन किया, मैं तपन दा को आदर करता हूं व्यक्तिगत रूप में, कई विषयों में सीखता हूं उनसे। जब ऐसे कुछ विषय उठाते हैं मैं उनको लाइटली नहीं लेता हूं। इस विषय को पहले से उन्होंने मेरे को प्राइवेटली भी बताया, उसमें मैंने अध्ययन किया। मैं बड़े जिम्मेदारी के साथ आपकी अनुमति से कहता हूं, हमारी मूल विषय है भारत की रिफाइनरी सेक्टर को मजबूत करना, कंज्यूमर को सहूलियत देना, अर्थनीति को गति देना। मैं मानता हूं ये डिबेट है।
थैंक यू।
मैं आपकी अनुमति से इसको उत्तर
क्वेश्चन आवर नॉट डिबेट। सेकंड सप्लीमेंट्री। बैठ जाइए।
While placing my second supplementary, I am constant to tell, still it is not analyzed that the price at which we will be producing in our country the cost, why the price of that material which we are processing in our country should not be based on that cost, not on the finished product of the which is prevailing in the abroad. This is a complete a kind of distortion or a perverted logic which is being priced, and that is pushing burden on
What's
the people.
What's the question?
My second supplementary, sir, is if you kindly go through your reply, as on date for petroleum, the refinery cost is 34.56. And the tax on that is around 24 plus rupees. So, if that relationship with your refinery gate price, even if I take that as a Bible, that refinery gate price, the basic price, and of that, on that you are adding a tax burden of 24. Similar burden is there on the diesel also. Now, you are telling government has decided for deregulation of petrol and diesel. Cost prices, international market, the price of crude is falling. So, why not that benefit be passed on? Why to neutralize the positive impact of the fall of the international price in the crude? You are neutralizing that impact to be passed on the common people by adding excise duty burden on it. Very recently also, the statement was laid on the table of the House by Honorable Finance Minister, and that much burden is already that product is enjoying. And kindly note, sir,
Thank you.
from 2000, not only petrol, diesel, but even say, let me tell, the lubricant, which was 80 rupees per kg in 2007, has now become 280. 2007 to 2014, the price of crude has gone down substantially, but no reflection in the prices on which it is reaching the consumer. So I draw your point of attention that if the whole pricing system reflects so much distortion and perversion, that cannot be either in the benefit of the industry nor in the benefit of the common people. This must be corrected. Will the minister please reconsider that?
सर, आपकी अनुमति से मैं फिर दादा को अपील करूंगा, जिस प्रकार की शब्दावली उन्होंने लगाया कि इस देश में ये परवर्ट अनुसार है, ये थोड़ा मैं चाहता हूँ उस जैसे विद्वान व्यक्ति से इस प्रकार कम से कम आगे लगा तो दिया, आगे कम से कम इस प्रकार की बात मैं उनसे सीखता हूँ। इस प्रकार के शब्द को, अरे आप तो चुप रहिए, आप उसको ना लगाए। मूल बात जिसमें कहा मैंने सर, शुरू उसी से शुरू किया था जी कि देखिए कोई ये एक संघीय व्यवस्था है। उन्होंने सही कहा। अगर मैं उनको एक तथ्य बताता हूं कि अभी इन दिनों में जो इंटरनेशनल प्राइस की, ये तो भारत में हम ऐसे नहीं सोचते हैं कि हम क्रूड ऑयल प्राइस के साथ इसकी हिसाब भारत की फिनिश प्रोडक्ट के साथ तुलना नहीं करते हैं, क्योंकि कई प्रोडक्ट की फिक्स कॉस्ट समान रहती है। उसको जैसे अभी हमने तुलना आपको बता के दिया कि हमने 10 रुपया 27 पैसा पेट्रोल में हमने दाम घटाया, ऐसे ही 9 रुपया 15 पैसा हमने डीजल में दाम घटाया। उसको अगर हम तुलना करते हैं इसी फेज में जो अंतर्राष्ट्रीय बाजार में क्रूड ऑयल की तेल घटी है, उसको हम पर लीटर हिसाब करते हैं, वो 11 रुपया है। अगर उस प्रकार से भी हम हिसाब करते हैं, उनको मैं आपके साथ डिटेल उसकी फैक्ट भी शेयर कर सकता हूं। यही है।
Fair enough.
प्लीज दूसरी
बात है
राज्यों को, सर प्लीज माय फिगर, आई एम कंप्यूटर दिस फिगर, आई कैन शेयर विद यू, आई एम लेइंग ऑन द फ्लोर।
Why is everybody interfering in somebody else's question? आप बैठ जाइए, आपका हक नहीं है बोलने का इस वक्त, नहीं है। No, not during question hour. I'm sorry. Please do not agitate here. This is not going on record.
क्या हो रहा है?
बैठ जाइए, don't agitate, please. श्री दिग्विजय सिंह,
Sir, I must compliment Tapanda for a very pertinent question, but unfortunately, the Honorable Minister has not been able to answer that. So my question to Honorable Minister is that would he consider drawing up a transparent policy of petroleum products in a transparent manner, so that every time there's a
difference in prices, in the international price of crude oil, it is automatically announced, it is known to the consumers as per the formula decided by the Government of India. Sir, I would suggest the Honorable Minister should take up this issue and in the Parliament Standing Committee of the Petroleum Affairs.
Question,
So my
please.
question is, sir, would he consider a formula in a transparent manner so that any change in the international price, the consumer comes to know about it? And also at the same time, what was the basic reason for increasing the excise duty in this process?
Sir,
May I observe one thing? The impact of classical music is such on our minds that without alap, no questions can be asked. We could save a lot of time. Please go ahead.
A question.
Please, please.
And also, sir, you'll have to allow us to ascend our...
You'll have to change the rules of question hour. Thank you. Please go ahead.
सर सभापति जी मैं आपकी अनुमति से इसको उत्तर ऐसे देना चाहूंगा कि दिग्विजय सिंह जी ने, माननीय सदस्य जी ने, जो उन्होंने कहा कि एक ट्रांसपेरेंट पॉलिसी मैकेनिज्म होनी चाहिए, मैं बड़ा नम्रता के साथ आपको बताना चाहूंगा जो पॉलिसी है वो बड़ा ही पारदर्शी पॉलिसी है, किसी कोई छुपा के हम चीज नहीं करने वाले न कर रहे हैं। आप उसको खुद अगर आपकी मैथमेटिक्स लगा के आप हिसाब करोगे यही निकलेगी। दूसरी प्रश्न उन्होंने उठाया कि एक्साइज ड्यूटी आपने क्यों लगाया, बिल्कुल उसको मैं उत्तर देना चाहूंगा। सभापति जी, हमने कहा, बार बार कहा कि हमने 10 रुपया 9 रुपया की, जब हमको कंपनियों को मौका मिली कंज्यूमर को पासन करने के लिए हमने पासन किया। जिस ढंग से हमको विरासत में हमको एक दिवालिया अर्थनीति मिली थी, तिजोरी खाली था, कष्ट तो उनको होगा ही। आपने दिवालिया करके अर्थनीति को छोड़ के गया था। क्या इस देश के गरीबों के लिए पीने की पानी की व्यवस्था नहीं होनी चाहिए? क्या विद्यालय में शिक्षक नहीं जानी चाहिए? क्या बिजली नहीं लगनी चाहिए? अगर उसके लिए सभापति जी भारत सरकार ने तिजोरी में कुछ पैसा लिया, बता के पैसा लिया, कोई गुनाह किया? पहले हमने कंज्यूमर को सहूलियत दिया, 10 रुपया से ज्यादा पेट्रोल में दिया, 9 रुपया से ज्यादा डीजल पे दिया, कुछ पैसा हमने टैक्स में रखा, गरीबों के लिए रखा, क्यों दिक्कत हो रही है उनको?
श्री ईश्वरलाल जैन, Shri Ishwarlal Jain.
Sir, Chairman sir, the minister, Honorable Minister has said that the government of India requires money for the development of the country and social works, social sector. Actually, sir, has this become a business for the government to earn the money? Actually, the international prices have gone down by 45%.
Silence, please. Silence, please.
Sir, international prices have gone down by 45% and the rates what they have reduced are to the tune of 12%. So there is a gap of 33% between the import price and the price at which the government sells the final products. Is government will consider to pass on this to the consumers? Because you said that we have reduced 10 rupees, we have reduced 9 rupees. What they have reduced is not in their hands. Actually, international prices have gone down to the 45%.
What's the question?
And so, have they made it a business to earn the money so that they can finance the social sector? They should reduce it as per the international prices have gone down.
Is that a suggestion or a question?
सर, एक तो सभापति जी, मैंने फिर नम्रता के साथ कहना चाहूंगा 40% की कोई कटौती नहीं हुई है। अगर माननीय ईश्वर सदस्य ने एक बड़ा शायद चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट है, मैं उनके साथ बैठ जाऊंगा, मेरे को अगर वो 40% हिसाब बता दे, बिल्कुल वो लाभ होगा। ये तो तथ्य भ्रमात्मक है। दूसरी बात, क्या सर एक सैद्धांतिक विषय है, क्या सरकार पैसा बचा के गरीबों को नहीं पहुंचाएगी? इसको धंधा कहा जाएगा? ये सर गलत बात है। सरकार एक कल्याणकारी राज्य में ये सरकार की जवाबदारी है।
Let question hour proceed. We are coming to that. Wait. What is the point? What is this? Please. Shri Rajiv Shukla.
हमारे साथ के सहयोगी इसी बात पे वॉकआउट कर रहे हैं क्योंकि माननीय मंत्री जी ने जो जवाब दिया है, इन्होंने कहा अर्थमेटिक लगा लो। मानव अगर हम अर्थमेटिक लगाएं, जब हमने सरकार छोड़ी $115 में ब्रेंट क्रूड था, आज $65 में ब्रेंट क्रूड है पर बैरल, और अगर ₹3 इंडियन बास्केट पे कम आता है तो उस हिसाब से 50% दाम तो ₹72 से अगर जो है तो ₹37 का पेट्रोल हो जाना चाहिए पर लीटर। हम कहते हैं टैक्स लगा लो, ₹43 प्रति लीटर पेट्रोल हो, और डीजल जो है ₹35 प्रति लीटर होना चाहिए। सरकार ने कोई कृपा नहीं की है। अंतरराष्ट्रीय बाजार में $115 से $65 आ गया, तो वो कंज्यूमर को मिलना चाहिए। तो मेरा सवाल ही है कि क्या पेट्रोल और उसके जो अंतरराष्ट्रीय बाजार है उस हिसाब से 50% दाम इनको कम करने चाहिए कि नहीं करने चाहिए, और राज्य लगातार वैट बढ़ाए चली जा रही है, कम नहीं कर रही, उन पे क्या दबाव बना रहे हैं?
थैंक यू।
सदस्य जी थोड़ा सुन के जाइए, अगर आपने प्रश्न पूछा
प्लीज आंसर।
सर सभापति जी, एक तो फिर मैं कहूं कि कोई भी तथ्य, ये तथ्य को छुपा के नहीं, मैंने जैसे कहा कि ये जो 40%, 50% ये भ्रमात्मक तथ्य है, ऐसा सही नहीं है। ये इसको सदन को गुमराह करने के लिए कहा जाता है। बाकी इन्होंने ये कहा,
since the member has left the chamber,
केरला में उनकी सरकार
you need not continue.
सर केरला में उनकी सरकार,
I will take the next question now. Question 234, Mr. Balagopal.
234.
Okay, let the question be answered. All right. Supplementaries, please.
Sir, my question is whether government had discussed about the trade agreements with US government in the last 6 months, and the reply is no. Sir, the news agencies like Bloomberg reported that there was a breakthrough in the trade agreement discussions. It was November 13 report. Then Times of India, Hindustan Times, other Indian newspapers also reported about the ice-breaking discussion with the US officials with the Indian government, and news came. So my question was specific, whether there was any whether government has discussed about the trade agreements with the US. So it is very clear from the news reports that there were discussions and something had been finalized and related to the Bali agreement, then trade facilitation agreement. So I want to know about that. My question is not answered in that way.
Thank you.
Sir, with your permission, sir, since the member has specifically referred to whether the government has discussed about the trade agreements, my answer is specific and pertinent to that. There is no trade agreement discussions with the USA. And that's exactly what I've tried assuring the member in the form of an answer.
Thank you. Do you have a second question?
Yes, sir. Sir, I need the protection. That is why I again said I was not asking about the trade agreement with the US. I was saying, questioning about, my question was about the trade agreements and whether US facilitated some help for Indian government or some bilateral discussion for the Bali agreement or any other trade agreement. Now also again the minister is replying on the ground that my
question. The member would like to extend the debate or question and answer to matters related to Bali. Even there with the US, it's not an agreement, sir. We have spoken with them as regards Bali. So, playing on the word agreement, I repeat, in the last 6 months, there has not been any agreement or discussion about agreements.
Thank you. Dr. Nachappan.
I would like to clarify whether any talks are begun with the US head, because the Prime Minister has got a very close relationship with the present President, and any talks are begun to come to some agreement or any other thing to happen when the President of United States is visiting on Republic Day.
This, at this stage, it is an invitation for attending the Republic Day, and there is nothing more that I can add on that issue.
Thank you. Shri Ramakrishna.
Since the minister has confined the question to the trade agreements, I want to ask, in the past, we have entered into agreements mostly on a South-South basis. And those agreements are also found to be more beneficial to the trading partners rather than India. Now, in that context, will the minister kindly put a hold on the ongoing discussions with the North-South trade agreements and review the agreements which have been already entered into in the South-South area?
To the court. With due respects to the members, I'm not sure whether it pertains to the
It does not.
question.
It does not. Question 235.
235.
Supplementary.
सर, मंत्री महोदय ने जो उत्तर दिया है बहुत ही संक्षेप में है। साइबर क्राइम का मुद्दा इतना जोरदार है, इतना महत्वपूर्ण बना है, 3 गुना साइबर क्राइम्स बढ़ गए हैं। महाराष्ट्र में 170% से ये क्राइम बढ़ गया है। क्या के अनुसार 4.5 करोड़ मोबाइल्स अनवेरिफाइड हैं। तो मैं ये पूछना चाहता हूं आपके माध्यम से, उत्तर में साइबर अपराधों के कोई विश्लेषण नहीं है, क्या सरकार ने इसका विश्लेषण किया है? अगर हाँ, तो उसका ब्यौरा क्या है?
So the nature of the cyber crime is very wide, and it is a very newer challenge for the government also, because it doesn't have any border. The persons who commit crimes in cyberspace may belong to any place, any community. They may commit from across the border also. So it is very difficult to define whether it's a territorial or jurisdiction. But let me inform the honorable member that Government of India has taken series of steps to deal with this particular challenge, and the Department of Information Technology is the parent department to look into the cases related to the crimes.
Thank you. Second
Sir,
question.
A study indicates that 139 million, 1 crore and 31 lakhs children in India will be lodged into virtual world by 2017 and will face various cyber crimes such as hacking, cyberbullying, etc. A Boston consultancy group study has indicated that Indian children are the most vulnerable because of high access but low security. What does the government proposes to do about this?
Thank you.
Sir, as I said, the awareness which is required to be created in the country is felt. And there are various agencies, there are institutional mechanisms as well as various agencies which are in place. I would like to inform the honorable member that the CERT-IN, that is Indian Computer Emergency Response Team, they are established mainly to impart specific, response to any threat related to computer security incidents. At the same time, there are bodies which are there to create awareness. Let me inform the honorable member that the Department of Electronic and Information Technology has set up cyber forensic training and investigation labs in the states of Kerala, Jammu and Kashmir, and all the 8 northeastern states. There, and additionally, the Data Security Council of India, which is under NASSCOM, cyber forensic labs have been set up at Mumbai, Bengaluru, Pune, and Kolkata. These are to create awareness and the imparting of training programs to the various sections of the people. So far, we have decided to sensitize the police force also. So, total number of 26,000 police officers and 600 judicial officers have been so far trained in the training labs established by the government.
Thank you, Shri Rapallo.
Out of 120 crore population, as per the moderate estimates, there are 12 crore net users. and we are moving forward from the credit card usage and ATM utilization to the net banking and online purchases. And your data is indicating that in 2011, under IT Act, there were 1,700 and above cases registered, wherein persons arrested is just 1,100 and so. Whereas under IPC, there were registration of 422 cases and arrests were 446. Likewise, 2012, there were 2,876 cases registered, but arrests were only 1,522. Wherein under IPC, there were 601 cases and 549 arrests. And in 2013 also, there were registered cases of 4,356, towards which there were arrests of only 2,000 plus. Wherein under IPC...
Where is the question? Time is running out.
Yes, wherein under IPC, 1,300 cases were booked and 1,200 were arrested. It shows that the IT Act is still being monitored by the Information Technology Ministry, and the proper coordination with the Home Affairs and the ground personnel of the police forces are yet to be established, and the sensitization towards the IT Act utilization is yet to come. I would like to know the same from the Minister.
It is a fact, as the honourable member has already mentioned, that there is a substantial increase in the numbers of cases which are registered under either IT Act or IPC. Government has definitely taken note of that, and it is a serious matter for everybody. And because the whole world is getting access to the internet, computers and mobile phones, so definitely there's a challenge before the government. And for that, there's a need which has been felt that the Information Technology Act, which was amended once in 2008, also needs to be relooked. At the same time, the provisions in IPC as well as CRPC, which are there in place, needs to be revamped so that it can really take care of the challenges with regards to the cyber crimes.
Shri Devendra Gaur.
Sir, the specific question I am asking, this is going to increase, sir. And the modernization funds Government of India is giving to the states. क्या आप guidelines में यही इस्तेमाल करेंगे कि they must modernize the cyber crimes का जितना भी instruments है, they must procure it, they must modernize it. All the states must modernize guidelines में यही first information ये रखना चाहिए. And this I want to, what is the steps taken by the Government of India?
सर, ये पुलिस मॉडर्नाइजेशन के तहत राज्यों को मदद दिया जाता है, और ये मामला जैसे मैंने शुरू में कहा कि कुछ जगहों में साइबर फॉरेंसिक ट्रेनिंग एंड इसका लैब्स का जो कुछ संस्थाएं बनाया गया है, इसके अलावा और बाकी राज्यों में भी इसका बनाने का आवश्यकता है. इसके लिए जो भी सहायता केंद्र सरकार से देना होगा, जैसे नियम है सहायता देने का प्रावधान है, उसके तहत राज्य सरकारों को मदद भी दिया जाएगा.
ठीक है. Dr. Seema.
Posts on social media and other websites have been reported during the last few years, especially leading to harassment of women, wherein even cases of sexual harassment has even resulted into suicidal deaths across the country. So my question is, what are the proactive steps taken by the central government?
I'm afraid question hour is over. Statement by Minister correcting answer to question. Shri Dattare.
I beg to lay on the table a statement correcting the answer to unstarred question number 411 given in the Rajya Sabha on 26 November 2014 regarding amendments in labour laws by state government.
Clarification on the statement by the Minister. House is adjourned till 2 p.m.